What is up, guys? It's your boy GRC. We're coming at you live at 11 a.m. Eastern every single day. Me, my boy Sam Stolt, producer Bullish, in the doctor's office today. You got a boo-boo? Okay. We got a couple things to talk about today. And, probably the latter half of this show will just be more of us, me and Sam talking like we generally do. Sorry. But probably by the end of this show, someone will be on the show. Someone might be fighting on the show. Who knows what'll happen by the end of the show? But first, I want to cover a couple topics. I want to cover one, Corey Costa. Corey Costa is a friend of mine. Met him in Vegas. He went on and had BitBoy Crypto live on his stream yesterday. I thought it was an incredible stream. I enjoyed every second of it. I don't see too many enjoyable crypto streams anymore. Enjoyable. I'm looking for nuggets, right? No, this one was enjoyable. But it was about the SEC. Corey Costa is all about synergy. Or he's getting in guys' back pockets, either one. Just kidding. And we're going to talk about Zen NFT a little bit. It's about batch minting. I kind of just want to let people know it's available. And there's a test net. You can kind of play around with it. It's not too much to talk about, really, other than just letting people know, I guess. But it's a concept that I kind of want to go through and learn more about, but it's new. So there's not really anyone to talk to about it yet. Too many people. So Sam, there was a girl down there. She distracted me on your screen. I don't know who it was, but anyway, so we're going to talk about those things. We're going to talk regular crypto, obviously the Fed rates. Dude, Bitcoin, why is Bitcoin still at 21K, bro? I'm so confused, bro. Sam, me and Sam are oh, we got to talk about stuff. And I'm dude, why is Bitcoin not going down? It doesn't make sense. And I don't care that I don't want it to go down, really, but I feel like it should go down. But now, the landscape is kind of dude, washing people out. People are getting rinsed. It's crazy, Sam. Let's get into it. Crypto in the morning, every day. Smash the like, guys. Smash it. Smash it.
You already know what time it is. Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning. Waiting on phone. Crypto in the morning. 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 Waiting on phone. Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning. Smoking a blunt on my way to the gym. 11 a.m. and I'm already tuned in. Got me some hacks and I'm making a stake. Got me some heads on, I'm making it rain. Pay me some maxi and that's just in case. Jim Reddit sent me to show you the way. Crypto in the morning. 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 Crypto in the morning.
Oh, there it is. What's good, bro? Good morning. We got some good stuff to cover, guys. We've got some good stuff to cover. There's some stuff going on with Zen that we're going to get into. We also have, actually, I don't know if you saw this, but I saw this earlier this morning. The employment numbers came out. Right? So the employment numbers came out. We didn't really talk about it, don't have anything pulled on it, but we might touch on that as well.
I want to touch on whatever you're thinking about, too. If you have... Jen, this is a crypto show, so we're going to talk about crypto in between, right? I'll talk about Bitcoin and S&P. That's part of the show. Talking about those things, in my opinion, is something that you can't really get around in too many conversations anyway. So it's we're learning about all these things, and I don't want it to seem like I want people to buy Zen. I frankly don't care. I think these things kind of happen or they don't happen. There's users or not. It shouldn't rely on one YouTube channel or a group of guys. That's not really crypto, in my opinion. And this is I'm guys, if this works, it works. If it doesn't, I don't know. Who cares? Whatever. Just learn and let's be in a learning mindset rather than I'm so scared because I don't think my future looks so good without this mindset. That's not a good mindset. So what do you think about the market real quick, Sam, before we pull up this BitBoy Corey Costa video from yesterday, and then we're going to play a 10 or 15 minute clip from this, and then we're going to move on to the a quick tidbit about Zen NFT, and in between, there's people on my phone texting me about like maybe coming on.
So the employment numbers came out right after the Fed minutes yesterday, and the Fed is trying to slow the economy, raise interest rates, and this effect is going to have it's going to raise the unemployment rate, meaning more people don't have their jobs. And the October jobs report just came out, and the estimate I think was around 190,000 jobs, when it was actually 261,000 jobs. Also, the amount of participation, the number of people that are participating in the market or adding to the market. However, that I'm sure that's just bogus on how it's actually calculated, but that number dropped slightly. So that would be like a positive thing from the Fed. When I'm looking at these from the framework of yesterday and understanding Jerome Powell wanting the economy to slow down. So this is not what he would want to see, right? So when you see things like this, you're like, okay, so that means that there's a higher likelihood of another 75 basis points, given just a tiny bit more data, right?
Frankly, that stuff is fun to talk about. I wish I could say it wasn't, because it's kind of like not like all like, but it is, because the more you learn about it, the better. And it's like, I don't care if like the numbers are fudged or whatever, like, yeah, okay, maybe a couple guys like know that life, but like 99.9% of people like are just gonna listen to those numbers, because what else are we gonna do? At least the point of origin. It's like that there's not another point of origin giving information that's like bigger or like potentially more like correct than them, which is an interesting point of view, because in crypto you never have that stability.
And I think that we could have like, I think some of these metrics are fucking garbage, right? To understand, say like CPI, right? Which is CPI is inflation, but they have like core inflation and different types of inflation that they measure. Like, oh, let's take out all the important things to 99.9% of the population, and let's say that's the number we take a look at, right? When we remove gas or food prices, right? The shit that like impacts every human across the United States, the biggest, right? All those things they might exclude, but when you do look at these jobs numbers, the number for what was it, September, right? So the numbers for September were revised upward. So that means that these things that I'm saying are generally going to indicate that the Fed, just given this tiny bit of data, right? Because I'm sure they have plenty more. They're probably going to raise rates again by another 75 basis points. When you look at this, right? They would want this number to be lower. They would want the September numbers that were revised up by about 60,000 jobs, from like 260 to over 300,000 jobs created, to go. They don't want that to happen effectively from their policy stance to reduce inflammation, right? Inflation.
Well, I was just thinking, it is funny. It's kind of like blood markers. Like, if you don't know who the guy is, but you get his blood markers, but you ain't ever met him or seen him, and you don't know what he looks like.
It's true.
It doesn't matter what his blood markers are, because what if he got his blood done right after his foot got chopped off by a freaking samurai sword? It's going to have high blood pressure, surely, or whatever, Sam. You know what I'm saying?
Right. No, you're right.
Some guys are like, oh, I know my test because I had sex with a girl when I was 17, and I was excited, blah, blah, blah. And you're just like, dude, it's all just a metric based on understanding within the pool of understanding people. Like, blood work is given between doctors, not to everyone, because nobody would know how to read it. Code just the same way, right? It's all very interesting. The point, like, what is the most important thing to learn is where to put your USD value, and not necessarily the coding or this part or that part. Not saying that's not cool if you love that stuff, but like in general, it's like when we're looking for, anyway, I just talk that shit all day long, brother. That shit's so good.
It is good. We also have inflation numbers that are going to be coming out next Thursday.
Talk about it.
So that'll be interesting. They I personally think that these numbers here, I'll take you down a second. I personally think that these numbers are not even slightly accurate. I have a company, I have multiple companies, and I have two people working for one of my companies that are working as 1099, but I have no, like, I'm sending them a 1099, right? But I have no idea if they're like claiming or what they're doing. That's up to them to decide to do that. And there's so many people that are making money outside of the measurement sticks that these numbers include, right? Like, there's people that I know who sell drugs for money, right? And they don't have a job, or they pretend to have a job just so that they can, have a bank account, right, to put money into it, or things like that. And there's so much of this stuff happening out there that I think that these numbers are surely wrong. And when I see like the jobs number, when I see the participation rate for the job that goes along with the jobs report, right, and I see the revision upward, and I understand, like, because I'm talking to more people, right, versus somebody who's just looking at data. Not saying that looking at the data is not valuable, but I think that some of these,
you gotta feel the data in your schnuts.
But imagine, it would be like, to go off of your analogy of blood work, right? Imagine looking at somebody's blood work and not having a conversation with that person, right? Like, you don't know what you're doing.
Certain that you know what they're actually doing. People. No one is honest with their blood work. In the community of blood work, there's like 5. If you're honest, you're like praised for like some humble likeness, and it's like no one's honest. So it's like you actually get a reward for just like telling the truth nowadays. It's weird. And I want to say that I have to spit this out. Jack sent me the entire document on my phone though, so it's a text. So guys, get your notebooks out. I'm just gonna read it because I can't put this stuff on the internet. He texted me. It's just a text, but it's a long text and it has bullet points. I'm gonna read it slow. And it's like the whole thing. And it says about the launch. It says about when. It says about all this stuff. We're gonna play Costa's video first. I'm going to cook some stuff up. Let's cook it up. You guys want some spicy alpha on Zen NFT before launch? You better watch this Costa and Bitboy stream for a minute here, and then you will get it. Oh, I got the wrong screen.
I also have when we get to Zen, there's right, the idea that Jack has is around adoption, and I have some data, right, that actually shows how this is increasing adoption and how this is actually helping crypto.
I'm sure he would really appreciate that info, and he might slide on here. Don't be surprised. He's a slippery one. But I sent some links his way, guys. Don't be surprised if he hops in here. Either way, we're going to be talking about his stuff. But I got to give 10 or 15 minutes to Costa and Bitboy. And we're just going to let it play. We're not going to freak out about the exact second it's on, because I went past the intro and then got into Corey's first question. And that's kind of what I want to just show everyone, that Corey went on with Bitboy yesterday. Bitboy has 1.7 million freaking subscribers.
Great. First of all, we should congratulate Corey.
Yeah, awesome. But what I want to say is nobody wants to support. Why isn't this have everyone support? Why isn't this flooding over the internet? I was retweeting it, trying to get meme shit going on, and I'm not saying it wasn't otherwise. I'm sure it was to a degree. I'm saying all these guys will put much money in all these things, and then there's guys really putting in work, and I appreciate these guys big time. And I don't care if he has a bag or whatever, but really putting in work, making connections, doing what he can do. He's doing what he can do. I can't play football, NFL football. It's not my place. But I'm not going to do that shit all day. But I can get on here and teach people about crypto, do shit like that. So you know what I mean? And he does it at a high rate, and he doesn't take excuses, and he has feelings about it, and he's gentle, but he's also very passionate. And I think we should get behind guys like these and lift them up. Because I don't care if Corey Costa becomes more popular than me. That would probably make my life better somehow, inversely, from him, all of us being in crypto. Why don't you guys lift the guys up that are willing to be leaders in their own way so they can work for you rather than picking the losers, pretending to be leaders, and then wasting a bunch of fucking shit. Like,
bro, that's good and very, very, very accurate, right? Lifting up the people who are being leaders around you, because most people want to tear those people down.
And they're going to lead no matter what, because they don't care. Maybe not to you, but leaders lead. You can identify those people, and you don't have to say they're going to be the president or make the next crypto or nothing. But they're going to step. Why don't we help people step up? Like, everyone that has ever interacted with me that's talked crap about me probably thought they were my best friend at some point. And it doesn't matter because it's all just fluff. It's all bullshit fluff. There's guys out here doing good shit, and there's guys out here wasting people's time. So support the guys that are putting in that work when they wake up. Like, that's cool. That's a nice thing to do. And I'm not saying financially or whatever, but recognize them and share that shit. And thank you, Pacific MW_Hex. You're the GOAT. You're the VIP. He's VIP list for questions, for everything pretty much.
Yeah.
Just like because of your consistency with the super chats and just like always being friendly. Like that, those vibes go a long way, truthfully. Lots of negative. But let's play this for a minute and give some shout outs to Corey. I'm going to, after this, really quick, I'm going to transition to a little giveaway for the CITM Cash channel. And I did a tweet on that already. So we're going to pop over to that, let people know about that. And so did y'all get the SEC letter, Jim Rat Crypto? No, I don't sell shit. What am I selling? I'm broke club. All right, so everybody have it. I was just about to close. What the fuck is wrong with my head today, dude? I was just about to tell everyone bye.
Easy to be able to create a sense of imperialistic conquest. Technological standpoint will possibly and hopefully bring us together, because it's very easy for individuals. You even see it outside of cryptocurrency, where this divide and conquer, this massive divide in the States, this massive divide in Europe. It's very easy to be able to create a sense of imperialistic conquest, not even just from a warfare standpoint, but from an ideological standpoint. It's very easy to create a sense of conquest when people are not realizing that they're being conquered. And I want to ask you this then, and I want to paraphrase one of my favorite presidents.
You want two phrases?
Sure. What?
Two phrases? A pair of phrases?
Yes, of course. Two phrases. So Abraham Lincoln said, basically, the United States can never collapse from an exterior force. It can only implode from within. How is this statement now relevant to blockchain and cryptocurrency? In your opinion, is it imploding from within? And do you believe?
I just got to highlight the question.
Corey's good.
I mean, that's an orgasmic question asking. Like, I love asking good questions, but you know, the delivery too smooth with this guy. I love
Corey's
it.
on point.
I'm gonna just let it go back. It was poetry.
For individuals, you even see it outside of cryptocurrency, where this divide and conquer, this massive divide in the States, this massive divide in Europe. It's very easy to be able to create a sense of imperialistic conquest, not even just from a warfare standpoint, but from an ideological standpoint. It's very easy to create a sense of conquest when people are not realizing that they're being conquered. And I want to ask you this then, and I want to paraphrase one of my favorite presidents.
You want two phrases?
Sure. What?
Two phrases? A pair of phrases?
Yes, of course. Two phrases. So Abraham Lincoln said, basically, the United States can never collapse from an exterior force. It can only implode from within. How is this statement now relevant to blockchain and cryptocurrency? In your opinion, is it imploding from within? And do you believe that this implosion has a... You highlighted that there was a beginning, so I'm not going to ask that part because you already highlighted that. But do you believe that blockchain is imploding on the basis of that, to equate that to that quote?
That's a great question.
Thank you.
That's a really fantastic question. I love how you led in with the quote. I've been talking about this on my channel forever, for at least the last 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, how do you become the tallest building in town? Well, yeah, you know what? You can go New York City, you got to build one real high. You go to Dubai, you got to build something higher than the Burj Khalifa. You got to start at the bottom, you got to build the foundation, you got to build, going to take forever. Okay, what if you just made a building that was pretty tall and then you tore down all the ones around it? That's how you become the tallest building in town quicker. You tear other people down. Now, when you look at the crypto space and you look at the bankers and the institutional money and the TradFi, what do they want to do? They want to tear crypto down so they can stay at the top.
Yes.
It's definitely something that they're doing. Now, a lot of people say, well, why are we not seeing more of a fight? Yeah, Jamie Dimon says Bitcoin's this or that. It sucks today. We have a new product for crypto tomorrow. You see Warren Buffett with his, and Charlie Munger with their, asinine, Mr. Magoo comments that they make, old man yelling at Bitcoin. Like, you see this stuff and you're like, yeah, but they're not really pushing back. Like, what's Jamie Dimon doing really to stop crypto?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe working with his buddies at the SEC, maybe to slow some stuff down, but they're not actually fighting us yet.
Right.
What's happening is they're coming into our world to crack it from the inside.
Yes.
This has been going on for quite a while. And you see the SEC, the revolving door between people at the SEC that go work for crypto companies and stuff like that. Slowly but surely, you start seeing the effects of this kind of thing where now, well, I'm sure we'll talk about this. We got SBF trying to make stock market 2.0. We were just talking on the show with Simon Dixon, who's got a great plan. You guys check out Bank to the Future, sign up for an account there. There's an alternative to SBF winning Celsius too. We got to fight against that. He's trying to monopolize the entire space. SBF is behind, in my opinion, not proven, but I believe he was behind tornado cash arrest for the developer, so he could put out his information on white lists and block lists. That's where he fed that out.
SBF.
He's responsible for
SBF
Luna?
Is Sam Bankman, guys. So if he says SBF,
yeah, he's talking about his name. He's talking about a man's name when he says that, right?
Well, he's talking about SBF behind the being, and it's conjecture. We don't know if it's accurate.
Yeah,
he's saying that Sam Bankman is behind the dude who got arrested, right? Not in terms of supporting him, but as in the terms of oh, you can find that guy over there, kind of thing.
Right. And we know Bankman likes to move and sign. He's a kind of a find out kind of guy. From what I've seen, it's interesting. But it's a cool combo, isn't it? They're pretty cool.
Very, very.
Dude, he spills his gut. Ben spills his guts here too. For a minute. I don't know how I say spills guts. I see Ben's a little flimsy to me, and he talks about himself being awesome a lot, which is a little red flaggy for me. But he still is in the battle. He's right on the front lines of the crypto battle, which is really cool. So he probably has insight on all this shit that you can't know what you don't know unless you're in that part of town, right? And he's in that part of town for sure. So let's get back into it. And Corey, the goat.
He's responsible for Celsius. He's responsible for Voyager. He's responsible for 3 Arrows Capital. He's responsible for Vault. He's responsible for every single one of these major things that we've seen in the space. Why? He's just following the traditional model. That's all he's doing. Look at the 2008 financial crisis. Who do you think tanked those markets? The hedge funds.
Yep.
They tanked it. They tanked the real estate prices. And then what do? They tank it and they come and they buy out from underneath. And now they've caused a problem and they've benefited from the problem. And then they present themselves almost as the.
I'm reading a new book on the history of central banking. And the author it's the 4th edition of this book. Very interesting. If you guys like this kind of stuff, I would recommend checking this book out. What he gets into in this book is how creating this usury type of a central banking system versus interest free. So I'm only about a third of the way into the book, but effectively they use it to create boom and then bust. Because what happens during busts? Well, people who would be fine if that didn't happen end up having to sell their shit. Well, if I can create an environment that makes people believe they're euphoric, right? Because prices are going up, and then I can chop the legs off from everybody, and everybody's like, "Oh, my legs are gone." and then they got to sell their assets, I'll be here and I'll just buy everybody's fucking assets. And this is, he goes into what's happened in central banking in Amsterdam, what happened with central banking in London. He did it in Rome, a whole entire chapter about the central banking in Rome and how that led to the collapse of the Roman Empire, how that central banking.
Interesting.
Very, very, very interesting.
So easy. It's not, when I say easy, I mean like it's some of these guys just like classic. Like it's just,
but it's not the thing that's talked about. Because think about this: if we can manipulate, because remember, this is crypto. Manipulation is just fair play, right?
oh god, I don't want to even go down that.
If we can go
Please
through,
don't bring me down there.
if we can go through, I'm not saying that you and I would ever do something like this, right?
Mhm.
It's what they're doing. They can go through and manipulate a market so that it can crash, right? Or hurt millions of people in terms of finances. Then what do those people do because they're over leveraged, or they just don't have maybe this financial sophistication or the cash flow coming in other ways? And they sell those assets at 50, 60, 70% off to somebody who caused the crash so that they can buy those assets at 50, 60, 70% off. And then the process repeats. Let's figure out where we can create another boom and then bust and buy everybody's assets. This is what's been happening for a long, long, long time.
Yeah, and you see it in crypto directly. Like it's not it just depends on the liquidity of the asset. Like the more it goes up, like the less people can really toy with it too heavy. But like if it's under a reasonable amount of money, if somebody wants to, they can inject 3 times as much money that's already in there and then liquidate everyone because nobody will understand that kind of action, right? It'll just, but that would be a direct attack rather than a buyer on the buy side, right? Like you would have to keep everything liquid. You would have to, and people would watch it. There would be people that watch it. Don't get me twisted. I'm talking about any asset. Like you could see all these things happen. But again, you see how people react when there's a 500% move, even if they're down 300%, even if they're down 100%, even if there's a 500% move at any point in time, everyone forgets what their last name is and starts freaking out and FOMOing. And you see that in crypto, and then guys that are smart and have enough emotional maturity will manipulate that. And I don't say manipulate, that's just like marketing. Like, you want those people to buy your stuff. But there is a point where it's like, okay, let's talk about the details here. And that's what people in crypto don't like to talk about. Like the real nitty gritty details about, because of the anonymousness nature of it. So it's interesting, though. It's all really interesting. I mean, I've seen it in real time. I've seen the negative end of it. I've seen the positive end of it. It's like, but it's just crypto. Like it's very high volatility asset class.
I just wanted to touch on that because the book I'm reading is like, I was like, oh wow, this is more accurate than a lot of people realize if you study history. But we can get back into it.
What's the book called? One more time.
Well, let's play this. I can go grab it and I'll show you guys.
All right, cool. We'll play this for another 10 or 15.
Solution to the problem. Like, well, Celsius went down, so I tell you what, I'm going to step in and save crypto, and then I'm going to liquidate all the assets, and I'm going to make off with all the money while the people have to take a haircut. And not only that, but now I've got another arm underneath my FTX umbrella for when my BIT license comes out that he wants, the federal BIT license. So Sam Bankman-Fried, this guy is the traditional market coming into crypto to crack it from within. Yep. And, obviously people have been following this story between me and him, this fight that we've been in. At this point, he's probably, he's ignoring me, he blocked me because Sam Bankman-Fried knows what I know. I know he knows what I know. And there's going to be a lot more coming out about this. But basically, I have a bill. It's a way to give crypto a seat at the table in regulation. That's the long and the short of it. I'm not going to go too much into detail here with it. I can share it with you maybe, later on after when we're not live. But the idea is that we are pushing this bill to create common sense mechanisms for crypto regulation that gives us a seat at the table. We reached out to FTX for funding because people know we lost a lot of money in Celsius. Like it's $3.6 million to fund the bill. Like we have 50 employees here. We're trying not to lay people off, stuff like that, obviously. And so, the bear market's hit us like it's hit everybody else. And the idea that we're trying to get it funded. So I had a friend reach out to SBF and Tim Harrison from FTX about possibly funding the bill because SBF had just been on Capitol Hill talking about different stuff, scolding lawmakers. Like, yeah, you must want to fight these people. So Brett Harrison says, yeah, we'd love to take a look at it. We have screenshots of all this. And he says, let's forward this to the policy team. So we send him the bill. He forwards it to the policy team. Policy team receives it. And if you don't know how a policy team works, they work very fast because everything in politics is of the essence. They sat on the bill for 3 weeks and did nothing. So we had one of our major political allies that we have in this called the policy guy from FTX. I can't say who it is that did it, but this person, when this person calls, you answer the phone. And he answered the phone and he explained to this person that not only were they not going to fund my bill, and it was very obvious they were sabotaging us, trying to slow us down. Also, they were trying to do their own bill, which is a federal bit license. If you listen to SBF Eric Voorhees debate, he says on there, like, well, the reason bit license doesn't work is because it's on the state level. Doing it on the federal level, it might work. So we knew about this a long time ago. I found out about this when I was coming back from Alaska, which was like September 18th, I think is when it was. I was in the airport having this conversation about the stuff that was going on. And what happened is not only did they want to do their own bill, they tried to steal our person from us. They tried to steal our person and say, leave his team, come work for us. We need more people of your political party to get on board with this. Chuck Schumer's involved in it as well. He's a person he created Bit License, or he's a big part of that. So they try to steal our person.
You know, it's a scam.
So I'm pissed. It's like personal. It's personal. But through that, we were able to discover what they're doing. We've been blowing the whistle on this federal Bit License for 6 weeks now. Nobody knew this was even nobody was talking about SBF in politics until 2 weeks ago when he put out that manifesto. The day that the first day I found out about it, I didn't feel comfortable enough like saying what they were doing. It took me a couple weeks to kind of let it sputter out. So about 4 weeks ago, we did a video where we talked about exactly what they're trying to do with this federal bit license. And what it means is the end of decentralization in America, the end of peer-to-peer transactions, because you have to have a broker license, cost you over $100,000, plus you got to have a lot of cash on hand. You're not going to be able to get it as a regular person, as long or short of it. So what happens? SBF puts out this manifesto, and what are the two specific things that he says we're not trying to go after? We're not trying to go after DeFi and we're decentralization. We're definitely not trying to go after peer-to-peer transactions. So those need to stand. That was direct rhetoric based on what I was telling people the truth of. They tried to soften the language. Well, if you watch Eric Voorhees' free debate, how many times did he say the word licensure? Over and over and over again. Yep. We were the only people calling this out. And the way we found out, it's not because I'm super, super connected. I've got birds everywhere, which I do, but it was because of just the turn of events of how things happen.
Right.
This guy is trying to literally destroy decentralization in lieu of him receiving the benefits from getting all the money and owning all the crypto and getting all the assets. And, some people laugh at it. There's a civil war going on right now between Binance and FTX. There's a civil war going on between CZ and SBF. Look at Twitter. Twitter's great, for instance. Twitter, guess who got rejected for a bid? Guess who got accepted for a bid?
I'm presuming
SBF rejected. CZ $500 million investment. Maybe BNB gets integrated with Twitter at some point. Maybe, of course, people assume Dogecoin, Bitcoin, Ethereum, whatever it might be. But the thing is, people have to understand, this is a very serious thing that's going on. And the difference between what SBF is trying to do and what we are trying to do is that we are trying to create a mechanism that makes sense for creating regulation that takes the power away from the people we don't want doing regulation, especially regulation by enforcement, clarity by enforcement. If you guys are picking up what I'm putting down here.
Oh, I am.
Our bill takes it away from this person with a cul-de-sac on his head that looks like a lizard person. He's not going to be able to decide what is regulated in crypto. There's a new entity that will be able to do that, and we all have a seat at the table and represent. We're able to get represented in crypto by people that we know and trust. So what he's trying to do is be a one-man wrecking crew and literally write the language for the regulation. We're saying,
wow, I've got a lot of respect for BitBoy.
I want you to talk about.
I pulled up the bit license thing, but
what he's saying as well.
I don't pay attention to what BitBoy, Ben has to say. I don't watch his videos. I don't watch a lot of people's videos, but this is.
It's not because you don't like him, though. You like him.
Correct.
You like
correct. Him. But I have this is we've watched 6 minutes of this, and what Ben is saying is how things are actually put forth, and it's interesting to learn more about this. We're in this environment where if you are in legacy, right? So Sam Bankman came from legacy. If you're in legacy and you have money in legacy and yet you understand crypto a little bit, right? Or a lot bit, you are not, if you're managing other people's money, you're not allowed to put money into crypto. It is illegal for you to do so. So creating an environment that will mimic that in crypto, easily understandable why Sam Bankman would want to do this. It is not going to work, but what is needed is your voice, is my voice, waking this stuff up. I have this pulled up here. Bit license is a business license created by the New York and Chuck Schumer. You mentioned Chuck Schumer. Chuck Schumer is a shady motherfucker that is just like a slimy, think Nancy Pelosi, right? Like that type of character, right? That you just don't have any respect for. New York State Department of Financial Services that regulates the activities of virtual currency businesses in New York. It was created by Ben Lakowski in 2014, supposedly, and it is decided, but it doesn't matter who created it. It's the manipulation of players in the background who are going to go through and push this forwards. It's directed at companies providing virtual currency services in New York, whether the company is located in New York or serves customers in New York. The activities require a bit license are as follows: receiving virtual currency, transmitting virtual currency. So if you receive crypto or you send crypto, right, as a business here, except where the transaction is undertaken for non-financial purposes and does not involve the transfer of more than a normal amount of virtual currency, which is, there's no definition or link defining what a normal amount is, right? They can arbitrarily say that, whatever it is. Store, holding, or maintaining custody or control of virtual currency on behalf of others, buying and selling virtual currency as a customer business, performing exchange services as a customer business, or controlling, administering, or issuing virtual currency. And then they go on to say, I'm just going to read one more sentence here. While the costs associated with the entire process are unclear, some companies are spending over $100,000 for the application fee for bit license.
So basically, they're turning it into the same thing as like before. It's like, unless you had a whole bunch of money before, you can't even join the party.
Yes, it says it could be 5,000 after that.
Hey, if it's 100,000, I think your boy might be able to slide in.
That type of thing is not. I don't think I want.
I have no idea what. I was just joking. Yeah, I have. Crypto gains are pretty lit.
Wow, tremendous respect for Ben here. Though. Like I have a. I know that Richard Hart has talked shit about him, and that was
Richard Hart does streams with him. He doesn't talk shit about him.
But and now that you see, like, so this is coming from me, right? And I'm not saying this is how GRC or Bullish thinks, but right. So I've been in crypto for a year, right? And I heard people say that, oh, Richard Hart's really smart dude, really has intelligent stuff to say, right? And then you hear Richard Hart like saying negative things about Ben here, right? And then
I've only heard Richard say
right
about Ben.
But you might believe some of that because you're like, okay, some people that you respect say that this person, Richard Hart, is an intelligent person, has good things to say, talking shit about this. This is the type of shit that actually needs to be taken care of. This is the type of shit that needs to happen, right? To actually take care of the regulations in a way that helps the people, right? Not like the chasing girls and buying stupid shit, right? Like something that's actually valuable to the marketplace, something like this.
Right. I
lose respect for Richard Hart in this, and I gain respect for Ben. That's my point.
I think Richard Hart likes Ben. They talk good about each other all the time.
Okay.
No, they do. Like, I mean, Ben, like Richard generally says, like, people give Ben a hard time, but he's a cool dude. And they went to like concerts and shit together. Like, I'm pretty sure they're on the same team. But again, as far as hex, like if they were having a hex conversation, they would probably not be on the same team. Just like as like a chilling on like doing whatever. All right, but they both want DeFi to work out. So
This is the book. It
it's
is
a history of central banking by Abraham Lincoln.
It's the history of central banking and the enslavement of mankind by Stephen Mitford Goodson. It's about $25 or something. It's a short read, probably like 200 pages or something like that.
Probably a nice one.
I'm enjoying the book. I think more people should understand history, right? They should understand their rights. They should understand their freedoms. Because if you don't know what your freedom is, it's easy for me to take that from you. So that's all I got to say.
Oh yeah, and the funny, like he's United States. Like, oh, I forget about that part. Like he's like Bitboy is connected to the United States as far as business. So like I'm sure that not bothers him, but makes him more strongly passionate about the direct implications of jurisdiction in this particular case. Okay, so let's that makes sense why he cares a lot about this. I didn't think about that. So let's play this another 4 or 5 minutes. Guys, if you're lucky enough to be in here right now, we have a direct shot text from Jack about the specs of Zen NFT when the timeline and all the latest updates. So I'm going to read it out on here right after we give this a couple more minutes and they finish up their last statement. And shout out to Corey Costa. Shout out to Bitboy.
Whoa, hold on. We're not far enough ahead yet to where the politicians, the lawyers, the commissioners, to where they understand enough about crypto to make this regulation. So let's make sure we put together something to where we'll have people that understand crypto at the highest levels and can help educate those people to get more on the level, to be able to make the proper crypto regulation, understanding the effects of everything, not SBF trying to front run and write the crypto regulation for what he thinks is right and he thinks is wrong. This is crypto. Yeah. It's all about decentralization.
Yes.
One man does not get to decide the future of this space. And, you know, it's going to be over my dead body. I got so much stuff on SBF. I got a couple of meetings today. I'm meeting with a Pulitzer winning journalist tonight, doing an expose on SBF, wants a lot of the information that we have on him, and we've got tons of it. So there's going to be a lot more coming out about this. And this is, you know, for all intents and purposes, I mean, obviously we had a little bit of a civil war between Bitcoin Cash and, Bitcoin SV back in 2018. But, you know, a lot of people think Bitcoin SV isn't really relevant. This is a much bigger civil war right now. This is the civil war for America, for the battle of centralization versus decentralization. And if we have to live somewhere in the middle and make some concessions because we're forced to, we can do that. But we don't want to front run and give up concession after concession after concession so we can make sure a couple lines of regulation that we want goes in there. That's what we cannot have happen.
Tremendous respect for BitBoy and Corey for getting him on there. Continue to spread these messages, right? Like you have to be active in this kind of stuff to get your voice heard. Otherwise, the players who have the money, the players who are the loudest in this with their money and what they're doing, are going to create regulations in their favor, not in your favor, not in my favor. Guarantee it.
Oh yeah, no way. They don't want us to have any favor. Why? What's the point? Why would they ever? It doesn't make sense. Why does Verizon want other things to fail, and they just make themselves so large that you can't even insert yourself into the pool of people? And that's what's going on here. Guys, I'm going to read this real quick. If you want to take notes, it's pretty long, but not super long.
Tell us what it is real quick again.
So it's the Zen NFTs, which are launching within 3 weeks, but could put a big, in my opinion, 5x volume for minting across all chains. If it's on all chains, minimum 5x minting, you know, per day. Like if it was on average, I don't know how to average that out right now, but I think it's going to really make a lot more volume go through. So because people like me will rather spend $300 or $400 and do it once rather than do it 150 times. I hate that. My brain does not like doing that, but I did do it a little bit. but I was over it. I didn't want to do it. I did it the first day. I showed everyone live. I showed everyone how to do it safely, properly. And so we're good to go. But the Zen NFTs, this is not financial. This is, sorry, this is not a final design. We are basically doing our own multi/bulk minter, but 100% transparent and immutable as always. Users will be able to select N, amount of virtual minters, and T, term, gas, term, and pay for gas. So N, amount of virtual minters, and T, term, and pay for gas. What's going to be different and cool is that we'll issue NFT as a key to each bulk mint. NFTs will act as access key. So basically the access key to the bulk mint, where there would be the multiple wallets and the multiple like pools of Zen that you have through there, through whatever amount you had. It could be transferable via OpenSea or any other marketplace or OTC. There could be a market for future yield of mining operations as part of this thing. We want NFT metadata to be generated fully on chain as SVGs, very similar to what Uniswap v3 is doing. I'll read that one more time.
It was the sentence before Uniswap.
As a part of this thing, we want NFT metadata to be generated fully on chain as SVGs, very similar to what Uniswap v3 is doing. The Zen NFT captures the value of claim right away that can be traded. The Zen NFT is a certificate/key of future mint of Zen. VMU equals virtual minting units. Each VMU is related to a C rank claim. You can batch mint however many Zen NFTs from one seed, limited to up to 100 C ranks per NFT. That'll be 100 gas fees. Choose between 1 and 100. The ERC 721 contract, the Zen NFT, capitulated U VMUs with UC rank. ERC 721 is like a mint factory, acts like a key that unlocks the ERC 20 later. Gas costs. Single claim is 180,000 gas limits as usual. Example, 100 VMU equals 180,000 times 100 equals 18 million gas units. Gas limit. Claim mint. Okay, I got to skip that part. There's too many numbers, but I will revisit it back if we have questions about certain things. So that was the gas cost structure, but it's not complicated. So instantly tradable on OpenSea, you can choose T, same for all, and number of VMUs when you issue the Zen NFT. Just like normal, you can come back to Zen.network and T. Oh, cool. So you can go right back to Zen.network and claim your mint for all at once. First 10,000 NFTs with 100 VMU are special. Whoa. Zen NFT makes claims portable, and we can expose Zen to the NFT marketplace. NFT OpenSea is a big market, equalizing normies versus techies, make it easier to do multiple C ranks in one go. Contract will be audited as always. ETA 3 weeks. Summaries NFT will make tremblers shake. What does that mean? I think you might spell. I don't know. I'm an idiot. But anyway, that's all you're getting out of me because I'm not posting anyone's screenshots on my stuff, and I'm not going to be copying text from screenshots to people like that unless it's a call out. So, yep, that's what you get, guys. I think that I'm not going to say anything about the value. I heard a lot of people are getting like served about some YouTube shit, but guess what? We don't accept money from anyone. So it don't matter for us, right, Sam? I have no freaking clue, actually. But I heard that if you don't accept money from people, it kind of makes no difference because you have no interaction.
Yeah, we're not accepting. We're not making money from other people.
Yeah, no, Hex. The Hex guys missed me when they were doing their little campaign for PermaShill. No, I'm kidding. I have no idea how that works. It's probably just random people. I don't know if people have made deals. Deals are a part of life. I've seen people make deals. So, but people are all freaking out online about all this stuff. And frankly, me and Sam are smart enough to keep ourselves out of other people's cookie jars because that's how you get eaten by a 5-year-old.
Yeah, I think I don't know what's happening with the SEC. I don't know what the letter that Maddie received supposedly is, but if you are going online to solicit an investment into something, right? If you're going online to solicit investment from investors, there is all sorts of fucking rules that you need to follow if you want to play in that system, right? All sorts of rules, and at least the SEC.
Do you think potentially some people were playing in the rule book and they didn't know what the rules were?
Yeah.
Is that generally how that works? So people basically, like, yeah, finally someone's giving me money for something. I'm finally made it in life, and then it's like, this is a financial instrument here, and you're shilling it every day. Like, we need to talk about your transactions. And
right. But also, didn't he want to do that project that was not? I wasn't really a fan of, but Maddie.
I don't know. Is it Maddie?
Didn't you?
I saw something on Twitter. I don't know the specifics of any of this stuff. People have been talking hysterically all over the internet about it, sending me all sorts of stuff. I don't frankly care. All I know is your boy's good to go. I got no problems with anyone because I use my frontal lobe when I'm making decisions. And I don't like accepting money from people ever because why? It makes your life stressful as hell. Unless you're like a direct business or, you know. Snap. What up, boy?
Actually, this is perfect. I wanted to say something about Zen. Right? I wanted to say something about Zen. If Zen.
He wants to join.
Okay. If it's Zen. We have probably 10 minutes or so. If Zen wants to increase adoption of crypto, right, and help the entirety of crypto, I want to highlight something here, right, because that's where this is coming from. You have probably around 30 million, and this is something that is from Crypto Profeta that I was reading something like this. Over 30 million addresses have been created on 9 different chains in 3 weeks of Zen existence. Okay, so you're like, okay, cool. Well, there's a bunch of those that are bots. Cool, understandably. But here's the interesting part about growing people in crypto and growing the adoption of crypto. The community is now, and I'm paraphrasing some of this stuff, far more educated about getting to different networks. That is an accurate statement. That is a 100% accurate statement. Swaps, bridges, speed, and governance. Zen, and this is now I'm reading specifically, Zen is achieving its purpose of bringing adoption and education about the first. So that's interesting. That was a lot of that was from Crypto Profeta on Twitter. You can check it out. But I completely agree with that. Increasing adoption, increasing people's understanding of how you move around in crypto. How do you do things in crypto? What is available in crypto? And then telling other people about it, right? That seems like a good thing.
And when the price pump, people like it.
Hey guys.
Hey, what up?
Yeah.
I love the new background.
Yeah, producer Bullish got off of the deathbed because we were like, he has lots of ideas, but then you get sick and you got a bunch of kids sick and running around, and he's been on high alert for whatever the illness is that's going around. So we hope producer Bullish, but he slid in here and just switched it up, and I'm like, all right, let's go.
It looks good. It also needs squat rack and CrossFit plates or something. Something.
It's the bear market. We only do push-ups, bro.
Push-ups?
No, I'm just kidding.
With one arm, right? One arm.
I do one arm push-ups for sure.
Nice.
Not too many though. You know, it's more about a balance and core strength when you're doing that.
Yeah, like two. Two is enough.
Right. Like 200 in 3 minutes. But anyway, let's stop being silly really quick. All right, because this is serious. This is very serious.
Serious stuff. Hold on, let me put my serious glasses on.
Yes.
Oh, these are better than the other glass.
He always switches it up. But people really don't. I'm gonna just. Zen is going crazy, bro. I think, I don't know though. Like, I'm not 100% certain about all the metrics, but now that you see some buy pressure, it starts to like, because you wait for that, right? You wait for some sort of buy side activity just because that's how markets work. And then it starts to happen a little bit. We've seen some big pumps, nothing. The liquidity pools are nothing out of hand. Everything's cool. Everything's chill. Everything's chill. But I want you to, how are things going with Zen? And then I'm obviously going to transition to the Zen NFTs. How are you seeing the volume on Ethereum and Binance? Let's just use those two just while we're talking around a little bit, but we'll use Ethereum mainly. How's everything been going with that?
So for Ethereum, what I'm looking at is the number of total holders increasing, and we're increasing at about 1,200 per day. So it's a pretty healthy early kind of like metric. And obviously we've been around for less than a month, right? Or Zen has been around for less than a month, and having 1,000 people plus like real people holding them is really amazing. And I'm actually excluding all of the centralized exchanges too. So so that's been really good.
Yeah, that's exactly what I've seen too. And I just want to go into the batch minting real quick. We just read through that whole entire text where you kind of laid out some of the rubric there. I understand what's going on, but I'm afraid that some others may not quite understand because it is a little bit like, you know, speculative and just like you have to be focused on that one direct thing a lot. And I just have been, and I just see like a little mini supply shock within these first few 100 days for Ethereum in particular. Like it was the first one to launch, and the metrics are super interesting to me. But now this whole brain twist came up. Batch minting, Ethereum's expensive, man. I did an $11 swap today, no issue and it was this morning. That's pretty expensive. How do you think's playing out with this in particular on Ethereum?
So what is the question?
Like, how do you think Zen? Like, what are your like estimations in your head of like what something like Zen minting, Zen NFT minting will do on?
Oh, I see. Yes. So I think it will push it harder. In other words, like think about it. So normies or people who were normies and now they're getting into crypto, they're really just learning how to make a wallet and how to use one wallet, right? But then there's all those other people out there who are looking for safe ways to mint many without doing much work. And there are some projects available, third party, that I can't really stand behind just yet because I don't know what they're going to do with them. And, you know, there may be some situation where it's not safe. But I would say that there's 2 or 3 available where you can mint up to 128 wallets with one transaction. So that being the case, we are now launching Zen NFT, which automates the up to 128 wallets in one transaction, making it safer and removing the need for management of all those wallets. So VMUs is what we call them, virtual minting units, which are equivalent to wallets. You will, of course, end up paying a lot more gas. But the freedom of choice there is that rather than spending an hour minting 500 whatever or 100 wallets and potentially being unsafe because now you need to manage this whole like data structure like in your Excel or whatnot, you can make an NFT with one transaction. You can choose to pay as much gas as you want. So if you feel like paying $1,000 in gas, you have that option, or you will have that option. So what will it do for Ethereum? Well, clearly more expensive transactions on Ethereum will have to be added to the ledger, and that will drive the price of gas even higher.
maybe will be similar to how the gas was when Zen has launched, but we really don't know. What we do know is that the way to spend more money on gas will be optimized, and of course the rewards are more Zen minted in the future.
Any emphasis on buying the bottom from the Zen team, or is that just like the GRC special? Like, I know you're not really like the weird thing about buying anything is like minting is like it's like a gentler way, especially like the beginning phase was already ended, in my opinion. Like the initial, like, oh my God. So it's interesting to watch. I forgot what my question was. Oh yeah, like I bought a very minimal amount. It felt like a lot to me because I felt like I had a lot of the supply for what was liquid on the market, but for minimal US dollar a few days back. So it's really not that big a deal. It can't even be a big deal yet. But I felt great doing that because I knew, and I had a lot of early mints. I was the 200th, right over that 200 mark on the thing. But again, that doesn't change the game for you really, because that's just one mint. But I have great rates in there. Where does buying a product like this come into the scope of, like, am I even allowed to tell people to buy anything? Because everyone's getting in trouble for stuff. But like, I don't hear anyone talking about buying the thing.
Yeah, I mean, so buying is an option, obviously for many people, and Zen now is listed on many exchanges. There's tons of liquidity pools. So when you make a liquidity pool and you're learning about Uniswap, you're technically buying it and selling it too. So there's nothing wrong with buying and selling. The question is, should there be a message of buying low and selling high, and should people even be directed to buying versus minting? So our team have been instructed basically to focus on the mint aspect, because that's the core of Zen acquisition strategy, like, so to speak. However, and I'll say however, let's say that you feel like speculating. Well, if you're speculating, don't let us stop you, obviously. And on an exchange, you can buy thousands and thousands and thousands of days worth of mint with one transaction, and that makes it easy. So a week ago,
super easy. Boom.
Yeah, it's just one keystroke, you're done, and you just bought thousands and thousands and thousands of days that people have put up for sale. So people putting up for sale their time and their effort of minting, and they're getting something in return for it. Now, there's a lot of questions about the total supply and the market cap. In my mind, none of those things really matter. What matters is the difference between the sell pressure and the buy pressure. And the buy pressure comes from things like understanding of the roadmap, understanding that in the future it may actually hit 100 million users potentially, right? So,
oh boy, I would be in trouble. I would need to upscale my car situation, because I'd be like, oh God, I can't drive a $4,000 car if I'm Zen Crypto Whale. No, I'm just kidding. But no, yeah, I totally agree with you. The reason that I speculate on it personally is because I really do like the roadmap, and I like that you try to get more users involved. And I think that it's a fair deal to do a mint or a buy. I really do think both of them are very fair deals. To a degree, they can be a little different. There's a premium there, but you don't have to keep an eye on it. Trust me. I mean, I do, but like the average investor won't. I'm a full-time crypto dork.
There's a good question.
Oh yeah, our number one fan and our everyday question asker, Pacific NW_Hex. Say someone uses an NFT to process 100 wallets of minting. Does that count as 100 new users or one? Which affects the multiplier for early wallets?
So the multiplier for the early wallets, C rank versus global rank differential, that's what we call the rank multiplier. That's the number of wallets. So the number of wallets, like in this particular question, is 100 wallets. So potentially, if one wallet for the mint is worth or costs you $10, then that's $1,000 spent, right? So in gas. And that contributes to the amplification of people who are doing longer mints for more days. So it definitely works. Now, the way that we count users is we count users based on the addresses people consolidate their Zen into. So we know that on Etherscan, right now we have about 30,000 unique wallets that have consolidated all of their minting into singular wallets so that it's easier for management. So that's what we do. Like with NFTs, we're going to be counting the unique addresses that hold NFTs. So clearly that's much easier because the wallet creation underneath, or VMU creation, is going to be hidden away from the user, but the user will own the NFT. So the number of owners of NFTs will be counted or will be used as a particular metric. Now, there's a testnet, and there is also OpenSea testnet. So we have seen 13,000 unique users grab NFTs and mint NFTs for themselves in just 2 days, which is an incredibly bullish situation too. Because think about it, not everybody even understands what testnet is or how to get the test either. And yet, there has been a volume of at least 500 ETH of test Ether. So people are trading the NFTs already on the OpenSea testnet, and about 13,000 holders of NFTs.
This is interesting. How this could play out. It's fascinating to watch you develop this. I'm definitely enjoying this. You in that case, right? So if somebody's like, hey, I'm going to take $1,200 and I'm going to mint Zen from multiple different wallets using an NFT, that those will be able to all consolidate to just the NFT, correct?
That's right.
And then is there a way, you had sent Jersey a text that we had just read about this. Obviously we don't, you mentioned it's not necessarily concrete yet, but we're in that fluid stage where things could change into the future. But I'm thinking about this versus like minting of one wallet. Do you see a scenario where these NFTs are the primary source for minting Zen? And then also on a longer term, how is this going to affect the supply of Zen per mint? Because presumably the number would go up of how many people are minting, or in terms of dollar amounts that are minting, right? That would go up, which would drive down the supply, but it's probably more tied to the time than it is to the quantity.
Right. So it definitely will tie to the time, because people will be encouraged to mint for the longer duration, because that's what would make their NFTs more viable for a potential sale. So like imagine minting for 1 day with an NFT. Like what can you do with an NFT? Not much. You're just using it as an instrument for the future mint, and future mint is tomorrow. So you can't really gain much value on OpenSea by like trading it, for example, right? So likely what people will do, and we always encourage people to do where the longer time duration is always better, just because that's the way that the multiplier works. So having an NFT for 410 days, putting it on OpenSea, and then potentially having Ethereum getting really bullish, getting into like 2,000 range, which will drive also the interest and the gas prices from other projects too, will make Zen more expensive to mint, NFTs more expensive to create, and therefore the original NFTs that were made during the cheap gas times will also be more expensive.
So do you see this on a more heady level? Like, we're still super early, but it could, right? Assuming that this is still growing very rapidly, could this be the thing that's like, hey, the squeaky wheel, we need to get sharding done quickly as fuck? Is that how are you thinking about?
Hell no, that ain't happening.
Affect Ethereum, because then they're going to be like, hey, gas prices are going up, right? That's going to not be good for adoption for them. So do you see developers putting more of an emphasis on this, as presumably gas prices are probably going to continue to creep up as time goes on, because of Zen, but also because of the fucking thousands of other projects that are doing shit.
Anything you can't even speculate. There could be a 19-year-old right now slapping his keys, ready to launch something that's bonkers awesome. Yeah, and those guys are real, and they're young, and they're in there, but you never know.
So I see this whole situation extremely bullish and positive for the whole space. Number one, if it's bullish for Ethereum for the Ethereum network to be really, really, really busy, because the busy network will deflate Ethereum and will push the Ethereum price higher. That will attract more attention, and it's going to be like a chain reaction, if you will. So like we want to burn as much Ethereum as we can to, I guess, in one way, to give kudos to Vitalik for doing the merge and actually being successful with the merge. So if we can make all activity on the network to be super hot, then everybody wins. So like even the hex holders will win, because what do they say, the ocean lifts all boats, or was that the saying?
Well, the liquidity of Hex is directly tied to Ethereum via a pair. And
right.
When that pair, for everyone in the chat that's like doesn't know what he really means by that, but as that pair raises in value, it only raises the value of the people that hold both sides of that token, and it gives them more ability to have fluidity in between both.
Yeah, so that's the value creation. I would say it's great for value creation for all projects out there, and it brings more attention to Ethereum ecosystem, not just Ethereum itself, but all of the EVM compatible chains. Now it makes the Ethereum team perhaps speed up their development and sharding, which will make things better for everybody too. And at the same time, it gives rises to other chains that are now more interesting. So, for example, Ethereum proof of work is not suffering from high gas prices, and people have options to play in their giant sandbox and do all kinds of interesting experiments. And so there's other chains out there. There's the Polkadot ecosystem, Cosmos ecosystem, Polygon ecosystem. There's very interesting Polygon Edge suite that you can download on your server and create your own blockchain like almost instantly. So that's getting a lot more attention too. And all of those systems were created to address Ethereum being too slow and too expensive. So if Ethereum gets too slow and too expensive again, it's bullish for the price, it's bullish for the Ethereum developers, and it's bullish for everybody else developing other chains that are, inviting other people in who want to not to spend a lot of money on gas. So there are options there too.
And that media transition is very bullish too. Like if Ethereum really does a 10x, another 10 or 15x in comparison to Bitcoin, you'll see a lot of those real deal influencers and people, intellectual leaders, move over gradually and slowly. And there'll be more media, there'll be even more attention. And in my opinion, nothing has come close to Ethereum up until this point. And this is just my opinion. Like it could be not true at all in reality. I think Ethereum is completely dominant as far as a force. I don't know exactly, like it's not like US dollar related necessarily. Like I think Binance would be up there as well, but it's more as like the future. Vitalik really has his hands on the future and he's a part of that. And it was the first one, kind of like Bitcoin was the first one
I wanted to ask, there's a question here from Vet in Crypto. Is there a path for existing mints to convert them into a single NFT, considering our existing mints are in one NFT?
Yes, and that's actually the part of the yin and yang strategy of Zen. So the yin and yang strategy of Zen is that we launch Zen NFTs to create more Zen, but then we're also launching the proof of stake NFT that will burn a lot of Zen by staking your Zen and converting into an NFT. Now, let me give you a concrete example. Now, imagine that you have 1 billion Zen, whether you have minted it yourself or bought it on an exchange. Let's say that you have it in your wallet, 1 billion Zen. You can come to our web app, stake this 1 billion Zen, and get yourself a single NFT that will indicate that this is your staking amount. This is the date when you did that. And your maturity could be 300 days, could be 1,000 days. Doesn't matter what it is, but it's paying the APY. So that will be the NFT that will consolidate all of that 1 billion Zen that you have had. And now it's producing yield because it's staked. It is also burned, so it's removed from the liquid supply. and it's loaded into this one NFT that you have in your wallet that you can now either trade or give it to your friends or whatever that you want to do. So once you give that proof of stake NFT to someone else, that someone else now has the keys to unstaking this 1 billion Zen, or potentially waiting until maturity and getting the APY yield.
Yeah, that's going to be fascinating how this plays out. What on the how, assuming, just hypothetically speaking here, that this, if there's an average X amount of mints per day, and say that were to be X squared after this is launched, and then in perpetuity or first until you come out, another iterative thing to help with this project. How does that affect the amount that somebody's able to actually receive per mint? Like, so I did one, probably the first week after I did it on day one. It was around 58,000 or something like that you received for a 1 or 2 or 3 day mint or something like that. It was a very short one. This would presumably drive that amount down quicker, correct?
No, actually, it will increase it.
Can you just tell me about that?
Right. So let's think about it this way. Let's say that, how we have the G rank on our web app, and G rank actually drives the social multiplier for mintable Zen. So if, for the sake of argument, everyone switches to minting NFTs and using the VMUs and multiple VMUs, that will drive G rank absolutely insane. Like, it will go from 2 million to 3 million to 4 million to 5 million. Now, that will make the rank amplifier much higher. So all of a sudden, the sort of social engagement and minting more Zen will make more Zen for the people who got into Zen and started minting it a month ago or a week ago.
So it kind of keeps those pools separate as far as the guys that did a bunch of mints manually from the Zen.network front end. So it kind of keeps the ranks to a degree fair.
Yeah. So
it doesn't just oh, you did it this way, you're wrecked, you should have done it this way.
Right. So if your rank is 1,000 because you were early, and now we have launched Zen NFTs that push the global rank to 5 million. So the difference between 1,000 and 5 million is very, very large. So that 1,000 C rank person is now getting the maximum rank amplifier, which is very different than any other crypto out there. Zen crypto is the crypto that rewards you for having a larger network of people participating. It doesn't.
It's pretty insane.
You have two sides, right? So if the current market is where my thumbs are, you have the people who have already done their minting, and they're in the wait period, right? But then you have the future part over here, right? People who are going to be minting after day 0, right? Whatever that day 0 being today. Those people, right? Those people are going to be, well, I guess it's always going to be changing, right? Because then you're going to go to T1, T2, and they're going to continue to get increasing as
so even if you're coming in in a couple of weeks when we launch it, and you're one of the earlier people to do it, the people that are coming after you are also increasing, right? So it's because of the ways to mint Zen. You now have the standard way, which is just 1 or 2 or 3 wallets, and now you have Zen NFTs that can be hundreds of wallets. That will accelerate everybody's rank adoption everywhere.
Faster. Yes.
Right, faster for everyone. So you get more regardless. The more activity you get within the Zen protocol, the better it is for everybody in terms of making Zen.
And that's why my liquid Zen personally is like sacred gold within my Trezor account now. I mean, within my other computer now, because I just like it. And I think that especially on Ethereum, there is a big supply shock within the first 100 days, especially. That's just Ethereum kind of related because of the amount of people that didn't really understand that day one minting could be profitable, therefore making day one minting extremely profitable, and then really causing a quick downslide. But on Ethereum, everyone knows those gas fees were high, baby. I remember those gas fees.
One thing that I wanted to also to mention, and I don't know if you guys have mentioned it on the show at all, the first 10,000 NFTs are going to be limited series. So they're going to have different graphics, different colors, and they require you to mint 100 VMUs or greater.
Can I have a crypto in the morning one?
Of course.
If you make it, I'll buy it. I'll do 100 accounts.
Okay.
I know I will.
But what I'm saying though is that the first 10,000 NFTs, first 10,000, going to have the maximum VMUs, which will absolutely cost the most. So like imagine 100 wallets per NFT as a requirement.
I'll do anything for that NFT.
Exactly. So a lot of people likely will feel the same. And
I will go down on my sword.
So
just let him.
I'll do everything. I have a house. There's equity. Everything.
Right, because those NFTs are rare, and they will never be made more than first 10,000, and they're obviously the most expensive ones because they require the 100 VMUs or greater. Now, at the same time, if you're not willing to grab them, you can still say 5 VMUs, 10 VMUs. You're gonna get a regular one. And the regular one is fine. It's going to work the same. It's just not going to be the limited series.
That's not.
So what happens to the NFT after so say somebody does this and they do 300 days for they do all 100 or whatever it is at 175 days or something. Now 176 days. Do they need to claim that? Does the NFT get burnt, or is the NFT forever? Or like how does that work? Does it kind of sit in the bank?
So it doesn't get burnt, but it gets this little rectangular stamp that shows says redeemed. Now it's kind of like, how people collect stamps, and the stamps that have the mark on them that they've been used is actually more valuable.
Yes.
So not the fresh ones from the post office, but the one that has been like on the postmarked and all that stuff. So this is what we're going for. So those series of NFTs, the limited ones, whether there has been spent or not, are interesting collectible items because it lets you lock in your C rank and keep it forever. And you can brag about it. Like my C rank is is 1 million or under 5 million, maybe under 3 million, and that makes it super special. I want to keep the NFT. Potentially, they will grow in value just because it's an equivalent of a passport or a certificate that you're a Zen crypto OG.
Is that a requirement that has to say redeemable? Not on the NFT side, but could somebody just hold the NFT without redeeming it?
They can, but they're gonna lose all of their Zen because there's penalties, 7-day penalty. So you need to redeem it, otherwise you're just giving up your Zen.
Okay.
And of course, there's a date on the NFT. So if it's held past the date, then it may as well have a stamp redeemed.
So how is this going to work from a semantics standpoint? So somebody's like 100 wallets. And is it just like, okay, I think on average it's going to be this amount, or is it optimized so that like, hey, you'll get 100 VMUs over the course of a 7-day window where we will execute them at opportune times based upon gas costs so that they get the best minting rate, right?
So we don't control that. It's up to the user when they want to do it. So like let's say
all via once basically.
Yeah. So let's say for example it's a weekend or it's Friday, and you know that Friday is the day when it's becoming mature. Now you could wait until Friday night to optimize your gas, to pay for the mint with gas, or you can wait until Saturday and lose 1%, but you know that the gas price has fallen like 6 times.
Yeah, remember, Sam? Because when I tell you I wake up like real early sometimes and the gas fees are like virtually nothing because it's just like a weird time where no one happens to be awake, like 4 or 5 Eastern Standard. Like, it's just so, again, that's a great point. 1% is critical. It's also important to know that the reason some of these downside fees aren't so bad is because then you have more flexibility within stuff like that. Exactly. Like there's not a lot of flexibility in some other stuff.
So how is that going to work from the standpoint that the variable that somebody's paying for is it's dynamic, right? It's changing versus like somebody's gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna put $1,000 and I want 100 VMUs, but then the gas costs are, say if they have $1,000 in there, you could mint that at whatever at $5 per transaction, but then at something like $36 a transaction, you're minting a fraction of the VMUs. So how is that going to play out?
So what happens is this: like let's say that you're coming in, you're saying I want to get a limited NFT. Now with the limited NFT, if there is a gas price war, you're gonna have to guess what the most GUI you're willing to pay. Now during Zen launch, we have seen some incredible numbers. Like on chain, we have seen people specifying 500 GUI just to get in early. And of course, the network would have charged them like 150 GUI, not 500, just because it wasn't 500 at the time. Now, when it comes to grabbing limited NFTs, obviously you're gonna have to measure how much money you're willing to pay for gas, and whether your transaction actually will even be successful to grab it. Now, let's say that you're doing it. Let's say that you're guessing 200 GUI, and you're trying to get this 1 through 10,000 series NFTs to the limited. If the network remains above 200 GUI for a considerable period of time, everyone else's transactions will get prioritized. They're going to grab those 10,000 NFTs, and you'll be out of luck. So you're going to get maybe 10,100. It's still going to have 100 VMUs, but it's just not going to be the limited series NFT.
Okay, so somebody could hypothetically go through and say that, hey, I want my GUI to be less than 150, and then it's automatically going to optimize for that, where they're not going to pay over 150.
That's how all transactions work. So your transaction will wait until the network comes down and then execute.
Okay.
So it works the same way for everything. So if you're wrong about your GUI, your max fee that you're willing to pay, then you're just gonna have to wait for everybody else's transactions to be added to the ledger.
Is there, so because there's that piece there, and you had said you can do more than 100 VMUs, right? So if you can do more than 100 and
126,
like,
I think.
What was the number? 100 what?
126, you said?
128 is the max for Ethereum.
128.
Say 128, then there could be a situation where they start minting on day 0 and it's not completed until day 2, right? For the transactions to actually.
And then they miss the limited editions because somebody else will grab them because they're paying more.
But how is that going to work on the exit side? How is that going to work from a redeeming standpoint if it's on the course of 2 days?
Redeeming
or would make a difference. So you basically, if you have to say, I'm on 100 VMUs, right? I want 100, right, and I want my GUI to be less than 200 or whatever the case is. And I do it, say if it's on UTC's time and I'm doing it, half an hour before that ticks over to the next day, then I have Zen that is going to be minted on 2 separate days. Is that right? Going to have any type of an effect on the
well, we don't count days by the days or rolling over UTC or any other time zone. We count days as 24-hour periods from the point your transaction have successfully executed.
Oh, okay. Interesting. I did not know that.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that one makes it fair because everybody's days are different. So why would we choose a particular midnight to roll the day? So
no, I like that because I wasn't actually sure how that was measured. And I thought, because it wasn't specified or I didn't know and I just wasn't aware, when I might have 7 or so wallets or 10 wallets that have mints on them into the future. So I'm like, okay, I should probably put the time and the date of exactly when I did this, so I know when to go back in there and take those out or claim those.
Right. No, I think we really measure the days by seconds. So after 24 hours and seconds, that's when the day rolls over.
Okay, interesting. This has been fascinating, Jack. I have another call I have to get out.
Yeah, jump off. I'm gonna answer a couple more just because there's some good ones coming in, Jack. If you have a second, I'm just gonna do a couple more minutes. Probably.
Jack, I appreciate you. Keep crushing it. Get answer this. I'm gonna jump off, but I think that people would probably like to hear your thoughts on this. This is from Crypto Profeta. Over 30 million addresses have been created on 9 different chains in 3 weeks of Zen's existence. The community is now more educated about different networks, swaps, bridges, speed, governance. Zen is achieving its purpose, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. I'm actually going to step down, but I'm going to listen. But I'm going to
awesome. That was an awesome Profeta, Crypto Profeta. Thank you for that question, and thank you, Sam, for reading. Thanks.
Appreciate you.
I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Well, we're definitely happy that this is happening. It's that was the original idea, is to bring more people out there that don't know much about crypto into the crypto space, so that they can benefit, and everybody else who've been in the space early also benefit. And so Zen represents the lowest barrier to entry crypto, high gas notwithstanding. And people who complain about high gas, they can go to Binance, or go to Polygon, or go to Avalanche and learn those chains, and not to need to practice spending a lot of money. They can just practice crypto for a fraction of a penny. So
and you can earn a little bit along the way. You really can. If you want to be a little bit cool with it, you can get cute a little bit with it, but have long-term mint. There's so much optionality.
Yeah, for sure. And so all of those options that are available, we're very vocal about using other chains and playing with other chains, assuming they're safe. And so I think people are enjoying the opportunity to learn, and Zen is being educational, I think, is part of its regional ethos. So we're very happy that people are choosing to use it that way, or indirectly learning about all the things that they would otherwise not to be exposed to. You're muted.
Yeah, I totally agree. And Zen crypto is absolutely destroying my brain and my mind. But I didn't expect anything different. Like, I've seen a lot of things in crypto at this point, like ups and downs for a lot of stuff. And Zen's doing exactly what I thought it would do, but it was hard for me to be so certain because so many guys that I thought were smart were coming at me sideways about it. So it really made me have to sit back and think, and really think, like, what do guys like Jack do? What's this kind of world about? What are all these people? And at the end of the day, everything has been done the way that I wish I could have done it myself, frankly, if I could.
Well, understanding the social dynamics within communities is part of education as well. So, like, if you think about it, so you started talking about all other things about other things, not this one particular coin. So now you're a heretic within the community, it's like, so to speak. And you're learning.
It's just the vocal ones, you know.
Yeah, but you're learning how human mind also works. Like, why are people feeling that way? Like, where's the threat really? So what is happening in their minds? Why are people being, fudded and then FOMO'd and get so passionate about things? So it gives a lot of opportunity to study the human mind and why people react in a particular way.
Right, but it's a very easy monitor for me to know who and who not to listen to, because being open-minded doesn't cost anything. You guys forget that. Oh yeah, I want to bring this up for you because this has more to do with me probably than you. So people be sending me stuff on my cell phone regarding the SEC violations for like YouTubers and stuff, and everyone's throwing all this stuff at me. I have no idea anything about it, nor do I care, because I frankly don't accept money from anyone. But I have a feeling that's probably why I don't care. And do you understand that stuff as far as the SEC violations and like certain cryptos and like accepting money and then like giving people in trouble for it?
Yeah, I mean, certainly. So SNE, SEC is Securities and Exchange Commission, right? It was created to protect the consumer from being taken advantage of receiving promises of an investment returning amazing returns, and inciting people to invest, and potentially saying 10x, 100x, 1000x. So the law of I think it's 1934 of Security and Exchange Commission. That's what they came up with, is that a security, should it promises the return on investment, should be registered, kind of like given a license for solicitation. And there are ways that there's certain limitations. Like, for example, an accredited investor who has liquid assets of $1 million plus, you don't have to, and don't quote me on this because I'm not sure, but what I have heard is that you do not need to worry about violating SEC if you're restricting the investors to the pool of accredited investors. Now, if you're soliciting an investment for crypto coin or slips, pieces of paper, whatever that you're selling to regular people that are not accredited investors, then you would be in the violation of SEC 1934 Act.
So can you like give me an example? Like, you don't have to give anyone like personal, like what's a normal example of this that goes down? Like, I'm sure this kind of thing happens all the time, right?
Well, Telegram, for example. So Telegram raised $2 billion from everybody in the world, and US SEC got on their case and required them to return all of their money. So they were in violation of the Securities and Exchange Commission 1934 Act, that their offering did not pass the Howey test. And you can read that online, like their statement. They were saying that it's a commodity, not a security, and they said no, it's a security because your prospectus is giving people a sense that they're going to be making more money. That's why they're investing money. And so that was the New York court that came with the decision, and they said, okay, you Telegram, you must return all the money that you have collected back to the users, or back to the investees.
That kind of makes sense. But like, I'm not saying it's fair or not fair. I'm not saying that at all. But it makes sense. Now I kind of understand it a little better, because everyone's frankly freaking out. But the only people that are freaking out probably are people that, maybe did stuff that they weren't necessarily 100% supposed to do. Maybe. I don't know, though.
So it's very easy to violate that law when you're doing crypto, just because it is not hard to get engagement. You just need to go to Twitter and say, here's a new shiny coin. It promises to do this, this, and this, and here's a roadmap. And by the way, each coin costs $1, and it may be worth $10. I mean, like, just saying that on Twitter can get you investments flowing into something that isn't worth anything, and that would be a violation.
Is GRC on or off the hook?
Well, you're not selling anything, right? Are you selling any crypto? Are you selling any paper clips that are worth $1 each?
I don't sell nothing because I don't want anyone to come after me. But if you ever want to give me money on the OTC, no, I'm just kidding. No, but seriously, I don't like accepting money because frankly, it's not that hard to make enough for me to live. Me, I didn't say everyone.
Well, my recommendation, if the river of money is really hitting the GRC Central, then what you should do, should you decide not to accept it, you just say thank you, and here's a place where you can here's an Ethereum address you could put it in that will be dispersed to some sort of charity, like the Animal Fund or something like that.
Well, wait, so does it have to be through a charity?
Now
can I accept the money myself? Because I ain't rich.
Listen, if you're telling people don't send me money and send money to this address that I like, then you're just helping the Animal Welfare Fund, for example, and you're not taking any cut yourself. So that's a good thing, and it's giving people an opportunity to feel like
I see, that makes sense.
They're supporting your perspective on what should, how to make the world better. So you're actually giving them the warm and fuzzy by letting them to act with a donation. It's not on your behalf, but at least it's towards the idea of where you think the money should be going.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's like rich people stuff, which I get. Like, it's important. It's super important. Once you start getting into all the tax stuff, boy, does it get complicated when it comes to like what you should and shouldn't do with your money? Because you can save a lot of money if you use it, you know, and help people, I guess. And you know, when it comes to taxes, because we all know in crypto, your melty face gains do get taxed, especially all you little traders out there that are swapping, popping, and locking. Jack, so yeah, there's that. I think, guys, I think I'm probably good. I started this very not long ago, and if they can, the only people that should be coming at me about Hex are them giving me money, because I done nothing but lost money on Hex other than like, so, you know, like it's not, you know, most of the guys that are in Hex have not made a lot of money from it. So it's kind of like, to me, I hope everyone's safe. I don't know exactly what's going on over there. I like Hex. I think it's cool. I ain't no lawyer. Okay.
Yeah, so I would say that for anybody who holds any particular security, any particular crypto, and they're talking about it, that doesn't make them necessarily breaking the law. It's the originator is usually the one that will have a difficult time protecting themselves if they're in violation of that law. And I'm not saying that anybody is, but anybody who talks about anything is not really at fault. Like, for example, let's say that I love Apple stock and I'm just telling everybody to buy it.
What if you only talk about Apple stock every day of your life?
That's fine. That's totally fine. I'm not on Apple's board. I'm not an Apple's insider. I'm not an Apple's founder. So I may.
What if I was the Apple god and I was like, hey, bro, and you were just a random guy, and I was like, hey, bro, you're smart, dude. I'm going to give you 400 grand if you talk about this product every day, but I'm just going to give you cash. Would it just be up to them having to find that out somehow? I'm not saying I've ever done that. I've never done that. I don't like meeting.
Yeah, people do that sort of stuff, and that does not make them in violation of any kind of law.
Hey guys, start doing it. All of you, send me your money. I'm just joking, guys. I have enough Zen crypto to go around, I guess, and all my other cryptos. But no, I'm just joking a little bit when I'm talking.
Well, doesn't BitBoy receives cash for talking about coins of all kinds?
Dude, Sam's only seen this side of BitBoy. I watched BitBoy on and off for a long time. That dude has been nothing but a perma shill for shit coins.
Perma shill.
Yeah, like he was a 5-year shill. And then one day he just switches it up and everyone has like major respect for him. It's like, yeah, I like his videos talking crap, but like respect? Nah.
Well, everybody makes their money one way or the other.
Guy, not like a real person.
Yeah, sure. But anyhow, so my point is that if we were to draw an analogy, would BitBoy be in trouble for talking about shitcoins, right? And even they would pay them to do it. So that is the question. I don't see him being in trouble for that.
Yeah, I don't see anyone really being in trouble. I usually think things get a little smoke and mirrorsy around this time of the year with the bear market coming in hot. You know, this kind of FUD really does make my assets feel more, you know, upside-y. Maybe not no downside-y, but upside-y. You know what I mean? Because people do sell out of all their positions, like, and they just go to USDC and then they get a new girlfriend and they forget what's going on. And then it's like, oh, snap, it's up 180% and everything's moving again. So it is important to pay attention close, but never over leverage into one position USD wise. Like if you're spending a large sum of your USD valuation on a certain coin at a certain time in history, you should be really calling a couple buddies on that one. Like you have to call some friends unless you're just loaded. Like I'm talking about 1%, 2%, 3%. If you're not over $1 million net worth in crypto, like you got to pay attention, at least like focus, because crypto finds a way to get your money. It does. And I'm not saying mine necessarily, but like, you know, I've had troubles in the past. I got hacked at the top of the bull run for like 40 G's and I had nothing, nor a job. And everyone called me a scam artist for it. Like everyone was like, oh, you're trying to tell everyone. I was like, bro, I don't know what happened. I ended up clicking on a bunch of stuff. I was brand new. I didn't even stream yet. I was just on Twitter, and then I started streaming. They're like, "Oh, you just were trying to like lie." They still come in here and say I was lying about getting hacked. Like it's just hilarious. But really, the reality is, I lost a lot of money and supported DeFi every single day with no money for a long time, and it's just like, and then you just realize anyone that's successful just has a bunch of haters, and you just move on to the next thing. It's like it's no big deal. Having people not agree with you on the internet, that's pretty much par for the course at this point, right? Like. But yes, that's all I got. Jack, thank you, dude. Zen NFTs is crazy, bro.
Zen NFTs,
dude. It's really hard for me to like. My excitement is at such a high level, but when I talk to people, they just don't understand. Maybe feel the same way because it's newer to them, and then I have to like tone it down hard because they're like, "What's up with Zen NFTs?" And I'm like, like don't. And then you brought up the limited edition, guys. I think you think it's going to be it's going to be fun. Let's say that at a minimum, we're going to have a good time, guys. Make sure you're being careful. Just be careful. Don't be doing silly stuff with silly people at silly places. Just be chill with it and be nice with your moms and your father and your family. Guys, have an amazing day. Jack, thanks so much for coming on. It's been a lot of information, but I'm super stoked for the next 3 weeks. Now I have another 3-week countdown, so don't disappoint me. I'm not with 3 years on that one. I can't have 3 years on that one.
No 3 years, of course.
I'm just kidding. But anyone, have a great day, Jack. I'll talk to you soon, man.
Talk to you soon. Thank you. Bye.
You already know what time it is. Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning. Waiting on phone. Crypto in the morning. 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 Waiting on phone. Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning. Smoking a blunt on my way to the gym. 11 a.m. and I'm already tuned in. Got me some hacks and I'm making a stake. Got me some heads on, I'm making it rain. Pay me some maxi and that's just in case. Jim Reddit sent me to show you the way. Crypto in the morning.